Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. It is Sunday afternoon, and the 49ers just dropped a game, their third game of the season, to the Houston Texans, 26-15. I think the worst part about this game is that there are more injuries to the defense. It was Sam Okwanu with an ankle injury, Jordan Elliott with an ankle injury, and Dee Winters with a knee injury. All three of those players did not finish the game, and that does not set up well for the 49ers going forward. Um, it was a tough game. The 49ers defense could not get off the field at all, especially in the first half. The stats were completely skewed. 49ers did not get a first down until the end of the first half. Looking at the final statistics, only 12 first downs for San Francisco, 23 for Houston, 475 yards of offense for the Houston Texans, 223 for the 49ers. Just a really tough game. The 49ers offense could not stay on the field, and the defense could not get off the field. Um, it was a tough game for Christian McCaffrey. Only 8 carries, 25 yards. Mac Jones at one point had more yards than Christian McCaffrey with 23 on his 2 carries. Just a tough day. The good news is that George Kittle on National Tight Ends Day got a touchdown, and same with Jake Tonjes. But overall, tons of mistakes. Huge deep pass to Juwan Jennings that was dropped would have set the 49ers up for a nice, probably at least a field goal, if not a touchdown. Other drops and mistakes on the field, missed tackles all over the place. But now the 49ers need to look ahead at what they're going to do on the defense. If Jordan Elliott and Sam Okwanu are unable to play, they're going to have to do some work because they're going to need to get some defensive edge rushers on that roster. Kyle Shanahan was relatively positive after the game, saying that hopefully these aren't long-term injuries, potentially short-term. Dee Winters with a knee, maybe, but the way Sam Okwanu looked coming off the field made me think that it's more than just a weak injury. Samuel Kwanu kind of hobbled off the field, and once he got to the sideline, immediately collapsed knees down and was just in a tremendous amount of pain. The cart came around, and then he hopped over to the cart kind of at the back of the bench, and then he carted towards the examination room for x-rays. I was making my way down to the field for postgame, and he was back on the cart going towards the 49ers locker room. So not great. I did see Jordan Elliott in the locker room after the game. They were working on a few things on his ankle, probably to reduce swelling. So maybe he's okay. Maybe at some point in the game, Kyle Shanahan was like, look, it's not worth it to put them out there and have them injured more. So, but Sam Okwanu, I feel like that one's going to be a little longer than just a week. Bryce Huff potentially could come back. I don't think it's going to be next week, but maybe the week after for the Rams game. Um, Jake Brendel still is going to be out. I mean, both those guys have hamstring injuries, so that's going to be a little while. But really, the story of this game was the offense did not play well enough, the defense did not play well enough, and just overall, a really, really sloppy game that allowed CJ Stroud to throw for 318 yards, 2 touchdowns. Another little piece of good news is that Deommodore Lenoir broke the 14-game streak of no interceptions. He did get one to end the first half right at the 5 second left of the half mark. He tried to score a touchdown, didn't quite get there. Clock ran out. There was some, debate on whether he should have gone out of bounds, so they would have had a chance to set up for a field goal, or at least maybe an out pass that would go right to the sidelines to get out of bounds and then a field goal. But I think Deommodore Lenoir just trying to make a play, he said after the game, just trying to put my team in a better position. I saw the end zone. I went for it. And I mean, I don't think you can really fault him for that. But he did say, he's like, I was unaware of how much time was left on the clock. So maybe the lesson is just to always be more aware of how much time is left on the clock. But the defense, I mean, there were a couple plays where there were 3 missed tackles, a couple other plays where there were 2 missed tackles. Any at all is bad, but to have 3 missed tackles on one play, just not great for this defense that was trying to stop an offense that had really had a trouble performing. I mean, CJ Stroud has had a tough go. They were without Nico Collins, without Christian Kirk. Um, so you just think that the 49ers had a better chance. All of them said, no, it wasn't about the early start time. It was just not playing to their standard, not playing to their, not meeting their assignments, which is definitely part of it. It was, man, just a sloppy game at the half. The 49ers only had 2 first downs. They had only 65 yards, 14 plays. At the end of the first half, only 5 minutes and 24 seconds of possession. Um, that's really, really, really bad. Um, Deommodore Lenoir's interception was his first since week 8 of 2024. That was October 27th, almost a year to the date. It was versus Dallas. So at least there was that. 2 touchdowns by the tight ends. I would say one of the positives coming out of this game is that all of the players think that there are mistakes that are fixable. So yes, they were without Bryce Huff, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Yetur Gross-Matos on the defensive side. Um, at some point, do you think, holy cow, can we keep going? Do we have enough players to field at this point, especially on the defensive line? But they feel like, hey, we can do this. Yes, there's a drop off in play. Kyle Shanahan said, yes, it's always harder when you don't have your best players out there. Yeah, it's not rocket science. But if they play sound football, which is what we heard from what they thought about the Houston Texans defense, they played sound football. 49ers did not. They were mistakes on both sides of the ball, drops, missed tackles, and that's really why. I mean, the 49ers could have kind of been in it. Kyle Shanahan still felt they had a chance in the fourth quarter when they were moving the ball. Um, I don't fault Deommodore Lenoir for trying to make a touchdown. I also don't fault Mac Jones for throwing that deep ball to the corner that, right to Juwan Jennings. Could have been a touchdown, could have put them within, closer margin, I think within 3. But the defensive back made a great play on it, intercepted the ball. He said he'd take that anytime. 100% of the time, he's going to throw that ball up and give Juwan Jennings a chance. So just a tough, tough loss for the 49ers. They are 5-3. Everybody else in the NFC West had a bye, so they do bump down to third place because Rams are 5-2. Seattle's 5-2 because they have one more loss at 5-3. 49ers are ranked number 3. Now they do have an advantage being 3-0 in the division and also having more wins in the conference. So there is that. But for now, they're bumped down to number 3, and um, it's gonna take some work. Kyle Shanahan does think that this will make some guys angry. This puts a chip on their shoulder, makes them work a little harder coming up for this New York Giants week. It's another long trip across the country, early morning start, 10 a.m. kickoff Pacific time, before they've stayed on the East Coast to get their body clocks right. They're not doing that this time. They're going back home. Part of it is because they're in Houston. They're not on the East Coast, back to the West Coast and back to the East Coast. It's Houston, so they're not on East Coast time. But it is another 10 a.m. start in New York, so it is going to be a challenge. But got a lot to work on, and maybe that's good. Maybe it's good that they can look at the film and say, hey, this is what you need to do. Michael Williams told me this week, it's going to be really, really tempting to try and be a hero and do more than your assignment, try to make a play, especially when they're in a hole. So they didn't really play disciplined football. And that's something that I think that the game plan, they all loved the game plan on both sides. Christian McCaffrey said he loved the game plan. All the defensive players said they liked how Robert Saleh had set up the game plan to go against the Houston Texans that were struggling. But it just didn't go their way today. And, it's stuff they got to work on. So got their work cut out for them. It looks like on Sunday, they won't be facing Cam Scadaboo, which is a bummer. I wanted to see him in person running, and I think football is better when you've got your best players against your best players. As far as guys coming back, I did see Brock Purdy here. He was on the field. He had the headset on, listening to the plays. Maybe he comes back next week if he's healthy enough, but it is an artificial turf stadium. It's better than it was in 2020, but it still is artificial. Uh, haven't seen Ricky Pearsall on the field at all. If Brandon Ayuk's practice window is open, he's not going to play in New York. He'd have to practice and look good, feel good, get a health check, make sure he's running the right, miles per hour. Jake Brendel's probably going to be out for another week with the hamstring. Bryce Huff probably another week without the hamstring. Those guys did not travel, but when they went with the hamstring injury previously, they said he's going to be out for a while. So I do think it's going to be at least 2 weeks. Maybe they get back potentially maybe Yetur Gross-Matos. I mean, they need a pass rusher. So we'll see how the week unfolds. Conference call with Kyle Shanahan at some point tomorrow and practice again, going through it. All right, we are done with week 8 and on to week 9. It's New York week. Man, this team has a lot of potential, even without some of its star players. George Kittle was back. He makes a lot of difference in the run game. Christian McCaffrey just didn't have lanes opened up for him today. Some of that's on the wide receivers, some of that's on the offensive line, some of that's on tight ends, some of it's on, just everything that happens. Some of it's on the Houston Texans defensive line, which is really good. So trying to stay positive here for y'all. This team does have talent on it. It's not the talent that it had at the beginning of the season, but they've been in games. So they could still, again, be in games, but they take advantage of going against last year's last place team in the NFC East, and that is the New York Giants. So these are the games that they have to win because they're going to play tougher teams in the division coming up again. All right. Hope you all are well. Did you guys all watch the game? Did you stay till the end? All right. Talk to you guys soon. Stay with me. Subscribe, please like, and thank you so much for watching.